So it's another Fed day, and here you can see that the Fed raised interest rates by 75 basis points, which was expected, all right? But this little headline on this particular article here talks about how Chair Powell basically said, hey, we still have some time, we got ways to go before we're going to tighten our tightening, okay? Meaning slow down on these interest rate hikes, and the market didn't seem to love that. So what we're going to look at specifically today is the small caps, the IWM, the Russell. And what you're seeing here is actually my chart that I used in my Outlook reports that I did for Q4. Now I do these reports every quarter, and members of my Outlook Annual get them along with 20 other of the hottest markets. You can see them down below. So I usually talk about the SPY, and I do cover that via the E-mini S&P in my Skinny and the Mini. But now let's just go to small cap land and see what's going on. So before we take a deep look at the charts, important reminder that trading and investing can be extremely risky business. Therefore, it's your responsibility to evaluate any information, opinion, advice, or other content contained in this video. All right, so back to my chart here of the IWM. Now, this is ticker IWM, iShares Russell 2000 ETF, okay? And this little symbol here that you see right now in TradeStation, HB, it means hard to borrow. So it would mean that if you were going to go onto your TradeStation platform and try to short IWM, it might be challenging because it's hard to borrow shares of this ETF right now, okay? That symbol also applies to stocks now and then. So right now, it's a very interesting thing. I had forecasts, as you can see, these vertical purple lines coming in, and my forecast that had a key timing point of November 1st was hit right on the nose. Okay, let me nudge it out of the way for a second. So we right on the nose made a high on November 1st. So now we are past my short-term forecast, my longer-term forecast. You can see the effects of some of my past forecasts, okay? And I want to look at what's coming up. Now, I will go through this in depth with Outlook Annual members when we do our deep dive of Q4. But here is what I'm sharing with everyone out there on the IWM right now. So first thing I like to do when I'm seeing a one time frame chart is squish it up, okay? I want to get perspective. I'm not going to step away from this chart and go to a weekly or a monthly. I just want to go on this daily chart back in time. So you can see that the IWM led the fall here along with tech, okay, in the markets, in that it started capping in November. It didn't wait until 2022. And we've been lower and lower with the latest turn lower like other broad market indexes and ETFs in mid-August. So let's focus in on what just happened. We had a recovery off of this trend line, which you can see here, this red line. And again, going back in time, where's that trend line? It is from way back when. So it is from the September of 2018 high connecting to the pre-pandemic high of January 2020. Notice that when we gapped higher in November of 2020, it did right above that trend line. And then when we traded back down this year, it tested the trend line here back in the summer in June, wasn't able to push below it for more than 2 days, climbed up, tested it again in September, again in October, and is still sitting out there. So with the current action, we came up into two resistance levels that I had on the Outlook Annual Report and are backing off. So now if I was updating this report live in front of traders, I would come in and say that, hey, the Tuesday, November 1st high is a short-term resistance, okay? You can see that there are some supports down below. Those will still be useful. But then what I would do here is come in with a new look at the current price action that has unfolded since I did these reports in mid-October, starting with a look at this latest run up higher. Now, there's potential support at this black trend line, which if I make a parallel and project that out, and I like to change the annotation of the parallel so I know that it's a projection, it's not a actual line of price action, you can see how yesterday's high was just shy of that projected line. Okay, so looking at the very near-term action, and I'm going to just use a black line to kind of follow along the supports here. This old top from October 18th, that's the first level that we need to really get below if we're going to continue down out of this channel. After that, we would need to get beneath this range from 173.20 to 168.19. Okay, the range of the October 21st bar. After that, we would want to see a return to 162.50. Now, this is like if we're bears, okay? If you're looking at this renewed weakness as an opportunity to sell. The thing is that we don't have a crystal ball and we don't know if this will actually unfold to the downside. So if instead the IWM shares stay within this sort of rising channel, okay, they hold support at 177.29, or they kind of just test it but stay above 173.20, then I'd watch for a return back to this 185.60 high, though likely to cap around 189.86, the high from the September 12th range, because that also coincides right now with the upper trendline resistance. So this is showing you guys a different angle looking at the broad markets, okay, coming to the small cap stocks and their index ETF, IWM. It shows you how the channels and trend lines and everything that you can do on larger index ETFs like the SPY and the Q and the DIA, right? S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow relate to small cap as well. And you have a few key short-term levels to monitor. As for the next forecast, well, I'm going to let the next day or two kind of settle out in the markets, especially since we're also approaching election day. And then by the time I convene with my Outlook annual students for a deep dive review of all 20 of these markets, I'll be prepared to make an updated forecast now that the two forecasts I laid out in the report on October 15th have come to pass. All right, remember to subscribe, like, comment down below, follow, and I'll catch you on the inside. You can sign up at the link to join my tribe and get my hot, timely, actionable updates as soon as I publish right to your inbox.